Okay, Nate. Next fight, we got Vasiliy Lomachenko. He is returning to the ring to fight Masayoshi Nakatani. Okay, now this is not going to be for a title, but the reason why I felt like this was a deserving fight to talk about is because obviously, the name Vasiliy Lomachenko. He was on top of the boxing world for a very, very long time, and he was almost undisputed. He needed that one belt from Lopez to become undisputed, but we all know what happened. Last fight, we all know, was against Lopez. It was I believe, a unanimous decision, but it was like a very, very close one at that. But he's coming back to the ring to face Masayoshi Nakatani. And this is a very interesting fight, okay? Because I remember him talking about this a little bit. He said he picked this fight because he knew that this guy was a guy that gave Teofimo Lopez trouble, because this guy did fight Teofimo Lopez. And he said, I wanted to showcase my ability and what I can do against this guy, show you my skills compared to Lomachenko's, basically. I mean, I'm not, excuse me, not Lomachenko, Teofimo
Lopez.
Lopez. Thank you. Yeah. So it's a pretty smart idea. Obviously, that doesn't prove like, your skills are better or anything like that. It all depends on how every fighter adapts to certain fighters. But let's get to it, Nate. All right. I'll start with Vasiliy Lomachenko. Vasiliy Lomachenko is 14-2. He has 10 knockouts. He's never been knocked out before in those two losses. Masayoshi Nakatani, he is 19-1. Again, never been knocked out. And one thing that they have in common, both of them have a loss to Teofimo Lopez on their record. But overall, Nate, I look at this fight, okay? And I hate to say this, I'm going upset. I'm going upset. I do not think I'm going to be real. It's not. I'm going Nakatani, and the reason why I say that is because I remember Vasiliy Lomachenko. He talked about. I actually had to like relook it up and everything like that. But he talked about how Teofimo Lopez's reach was kind of giving him a little bit of trouble. Now, again, like I said, now I think Nakatani is a very, very good fighter. Now, again, do I think Lomachenko could knock him out? Yes. The reason why is because if you look at Nakatani's boxing stance, he does leave that chin a little bit open, but he's never been knocked out before. He's been knocked down. He's been knocked down by Felix Verdeo. So he's been
Great
knocked
fight,
down
by
by
the
him.
way.
Huh?
That was a great fight, by the way.
Great fight. It was. But he came back and he ended up winning. I do think Lomachenko does have knockout power. I absolutely agree. Lomachenko's defense, no matter which way you want to put it, he's probably one of the best defensive fighters in boxing. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter whether he lost to Lopez or not. He is still one of the best defensive boxers in boxing. It's as simple as that. But when I look at this fight, Nate, the reason why I think Nakatani is going to win, I think that reach is really going to give Lomachenko issues. Okay, I do think that Nakatani could keep him at bay. And not only that, the one thing I noticed about Lomachenko's game is, again, the body to him is kind of a weakness. Now, I don't mean like, he's very sensitive there. That's not what I mean. I'm saying he leaves the body he leaves the body open, and he leaves you shots where you can actually touch him up on his body and get some points, and get some hits on him. And that's something that Lopez was able to do very, very well. Against Vasiliy Lomachenko, he was able to again go to the body, kind of set up a little bit on the head, and he ended up winning by decision. Now that was a guy in Lopez who didn't go to decision that much. He didn't. Again, you looked at his record, and he wasn't knocking people out in. He wasn't knocking people out in like the later rounds. He was knocking these people out in early rounds, and we had that question of whether Lopez could go the whole distance with Lomachenko, and he proved that he could. But overall, Nate, I think Nakatani is going to win this by decision. I'm going to be real. Okay. And I do think Nakatani is a very, very good fighter. Again, now if Lomachenko does win, the next step for him, I think him and Lopez for a rematch, I think that would draw in a lot of money. I think it'll draw in a lot of money. Um, Obviously, the whole fight against Lomachenko was Lopez's test. It was Lopez's biggest test. And he was able to prove that he could stand in the big lights with a guy like Vasiliy Lomachenko and end up defeating him. But regardless of that, it was a very, very close fight, and Lomachenko was coming back at the end. So it raises the questions of me personally. When I was judging it, I had it at a draw, but it leaves the questions of, can Lopez do it again? And I think if Lomachenko does win, I think that is the fight to make. If Nakatani wins, you could still make that Lopez rematch because they both fought him once. But overall, Nate, I got Nakatani winning this by decision. I'm gonna go with the upset. I just have a feeling that Nakatani's reach. I just think that, and not only that, Nakatani, he's a very good fighter on the inside as well. For somebody who has that big of a reach, he's a very good fighter on the inside too. So you got to watch out for that as well. But I think Nakatani is going to end up defeating Vasiliy Lomachenko. And obviously, it's not for a belt or anything, but whoever wins this fight is definitely going to take a big leap in that lightweight division. So, with that being said, best of luck to both fighters. Again, the fight is going to be on. It will be on ESPN Plus or Sky Sports. Sky Sports, if you are in like the British area, so it's going to be there. The time for it is going to be. It'll be Saturday, June 26th, 10 p.m. It's going to be on ESPN Plus if you're in the US, Sky Sports if you're in the UK. If you're in the UK, the time for that fight is 3 a.m. So again, make sure you guys go check that out if you have the time. So with that being said, best of luck to both fighters, and we'll see who wins.
Got the upset. Yeah, so do I. Well, I'll explain my reason. Okay? I got an upset too, and the reason why I do, I had to think long and hard about this one. The reason why I thought long and hard is because just like Gervonta Davis and Mario Barros, these two fighters are unlike those other two fighters I mentioned. These two are pretty much identical in every sense. You know, like you said, Lomachenko opens up his body. You know, Nakatani keeps his chin open. You know what I mean? And that's something you can't do in boxing. You can't keep those open holes because of that. If someone gets that area, boom, that's it. Game over. So really, when I look at this fight, Mario, they obviously they got great body strikes. They got great head strikes. Their defense could be a little bit better on both ends, but I honestly think these two fighters are pretty much one and the same. I look at both fighters, and it's pretty hard to point out a difference. You know what I mean? So honestly, Mario, I really think it's gonna come again. I really think it's gonna come down to who takes that opportunity first and
Right. I'll
capitalize.
say this. I think Vasiliy Lomachenko, despite him leaving the body open, because most defensive fighters, if you watch them like Floyd Mayweather, the best chance you had at beating him was going to the body when he was on those ropes. That was the best chance you had at beating him when he was in his prime. Going to Vasiliy Lomachenko is the same thing, but I think Vasiliy Lomachenko's defense is better than Nakatani's. But I do think that Nakatani's reach is going to give Vasiliy a lot of trouble.
Right, absolutely. And honestly, Mario, that's pretty much my reasoning for Nagatani win. Not only that, but he's got a long reach, you know, so I feel like he could definitely take a huge advantage on that. But hey, who's to say nobody can't get knocked out? You know, that definitely can happen. You never know. We'll just have to find out tomorrow night. But when I look at this fight, Mario, and I look at both fighters, it's just so hard to point out a difference. I think it's really gonna come down to who, well, for one thing, who's the better fighter? Obviously, that comes down to it in every single fight. But it's really going to come down to who capitalizes first, and then whoever capitalizes first, I really think they're going to take command from there on out. So we'll see what happens. I'm pretty excited for this fight, and I can't wait to see what happens in it. So with that being said, best of luck to both fighters. When's the fight again?
The fight is going to be tomorrow, the same day as the Gervonta Davis versus
Right.
Mario Barros fight. It is that the Lomachenko fight is going to be on at 10 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And if you're in the UK, it's going to be on Sky Sports at 3 a.m.
Right. So make sure you go check that out if you want to watch it. Gervonta Davis and Mario Barros are also playing tomorrow night.
Yeah,
So so that might overlap. So best of luck to all four fighters tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens.